The fastest man on track, half a second quicker, with a 2:16.2. Good solid lap time. It's a 50-minute race tonight, and it is 4 times fuel, 4 times tyres. Usual, the expected kind of rules and stuff, entry, cutting, and all that kind of stuff. No, the lobby will be fine too. We've worked it out. We shouldn't have a problem with it. Everyone's in, everyone's running. 2 tyre combos need to be used. You can use any 2 you like, as long as it's you do use 2. Could be a 2-stop, could be a 3-stop. I think depends on strategy. But anyway, without further ado, representing Black Flag E-Racing, we've got Stormfly, kind of fastest man on track. Second man out there is Mr. Cool. Thanks, Mr. Cool, for jumping in last minute. We lost our 5th runner early this morning. Ozzy jumped in to help us, and then his son caused him a few problems and he had to dive out, and Mr. Cool's there, valiantly waiting in the wings to jump in and take up the spot. Looking forward to it, and he's already proving to be pretty quick. Then we've got Stargroot Senior. Stargroot has COVID and not feeling great. He may or may not last the race, but like a proper trooper that he is, and 3-time DRE champion, he is going to soldier on and give it a crack. So hopefully, touch wood, he lasts the distance. But he's obviously not that slow because he's just put in a 2:17.1. As Stormfly puts in a 2:15.3. Also representing Black Flag, we've got Frowny. Frowny, we know, can throw a car around a track. Looking forward to seeing his lap times. We've got our host and obviously our resident German. So he should be smashing this car. He works for Mercedes and doesn't even like them. But he should do well. There he is. There is Avalon there. 2:16.4 being his quickest time. I'm in the room as well, but obviously I'm not racing, obviously. Let's have a look at the guys from Gentleman Drivers Racing Club. There we've got Bourneville 76. He is a French, racing with the all Belgian team. 2:17.4, looking pretty racy already. Yeah, he does. He needs to lose those 33 letters. I might actually turn on the nicknames rather than anything else. Actually, I'll have a look in a sec. 6th, there is Salva 70, one of the Belgian members. We may get my my famous comment from back in the old days. We won't with they should not be mentioned, of the Belgian sandwich today, which might be interesting. There's Clyde 86. I've got to say that we did our liveries independently. It has to be said, Rob. We both went away. We knew what car we were doing, and we did our liveries independently. And then we showed each other the liveries, and essentially we've gone for the same colours. So clearly, grey minds think alike. We've gone for black and red, and they've gone for red and black. There we go. Also from GDSR, we've got Kevin 16. Welcome, Kevin 16. It was the 2 of us that put this together. Well done for getting the team together so quickly. This was done at pretty short notice, so awesome job from you, buddy. And Ian 04. So let's actually, shall we turn on the nicknames? Because I think that's a much better idea. Nicknames. There we go. Look at that. So Stormfly, Avalon Shadow, Craig. Not Mr. Cool anymore, but he's dropped the DRS, that's better. There's Wiggy in 4th, Frowny in 5th, Bourneville there 6th, Salva, Clyde, Kevin, Ian, and of course it's got my name there for no apparent reason, other than the fact I'm in a room and telling you guys what is occurring. So, still the fastest man out on track is Stormfly, with a 2:15.3. Now we are, how far are we from qualifying? About 10 minutes to the end of qualifying. So there's still a few laps to put in to see how we get on. We will start at bang on 8:30. Everyone seems to have connected all right, so it looks like there's no connection problems. It looks like we have found a way to overcome the bug that Polyphony and Sony, 2 massive companies with millions of pounds at their disposal, couldn't do. Idiots. But there we go. Enough said about that. Yeah, so Stormfly, fastest man. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a little on board with Stormfly and just watch how he attacks this track. But let's do it for the passenger seat because that sounds like more fun. Very, very smooth. just a little dab of brake there. So I find I have to brake a bit harder than that. Armpit lights matter. You can't drop it, can you, Teach? It's like a rod on your back. You have to unleash the pain. And to be fair, I did consider putting that on the cars, but I'm a grown up, so I didn't. Very smooth in there as well from Stormfly. You see, you come down here, we're under the bridge, you want to dab those brakes, get that turned in second gear, get on the power as quickly as possible, because everything from here is flat. Didn't need to lift there, that's good. I suspect on more worn tyres you will. There is the dreaded penalty line he's just gone through. I did a little test earlier, and I reckon if you get a 3-second pit lane penalty over the course of that lap with that penalty, it will cost you somewhere in the region of 10 to 11 seconds, which is ridiculous. Into the bus stop, down to first gear, no other way to do it. Turned in very, very nicely, and away and on the power. So let's go a full lap with Stormfly now. So down into turn 1, hitting the brakes really late there, about a 50 metre mark, clipping that apex. You want to get it turned and get on that power. You let the car drift over to that right hand side, hug that the pit lane wall, turn in earlier than you think, clip the curb, turn again, clip the curb. You shouldn't need to lift, especially on fresh tyres, as you barrel up the hill. Got to look out on that right hand side when you come up there during the pit window, because people are going to be coming out of there at speed. So just need to have a little look and make sure. You're looking on the left here for the 50 metre board. You're getting on those brakes, down into second gear, get it turned, flick it to that left hand side, get as far left as you can, little lift before you turn in and back on the power. Big braking zone coming up for this right-hander. This corner seems to take an age in second gear as you hug that inside line, get on the power when you dare let it drift, and again just a lift and a little dab of brakes, and then you're on the power again down the hill. You go under the sparse sign to the right hand side, and about that 50 metre mark you give a little dab of the brake, and then on that power and just power through this corner. And in grippy circumstances you should be able to power through there without too much problems. Again, 50 metre board on the brakes, get it turned in. The exit here is important to make sure you get a good entry into this corner so you can power out early, go under the billboard, and then round the to the right hand side, and then again on that power. A big wobble there, but he does hold it on the road. Great shot of the back end of that car. Evening, Paul, good to see you. Got some great video earlier. Loving your little car challenge. PM7 Racing's just joined us. Anybody that wants to pick up a really fun challenge, he's got a series of videos. It's on week 2 of 5, where he whips a shifter car around some really tricky circuits and lays down the gauntlet to see if you can beat his time. And then we see just going into the pit lane. But yeah, no, check it out. It's if you look at our YouTube page, he's right there on our homepage. Check him out, give him a like, give him a subscribe. After, of course, you've liked and subscribed our page first. And remember, when you decide that you really like him, you know who recommended him. Don't forget about us. But no, he's awesome. I haven't tried it yet, Paul. And look, you know, between you and me, we know I'm not going to beat any of your times. But it looks like great fun either way. Yeah, 7 minutes left of qualification. So at the moment, it looks like Bourville is laying down a bit of a gauntlet. 2:16.7. Actually, was that pit time, or was that? It looks like his fastest time anyway. Current fastest time, obviously, he's Stormfly with a 2:15.3. Haven't got Craig's time up, strangely. Good evening, Jean-Francois. Glad you are joining us. If you like what you see, please feel free to click the subscribe button. It's going to be a good bit of fun. Tomorrow's race, I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest, TJ. Prediction will probably be that James will be too sick to race and Stormfly will start running away with the championship. But we'll talk about that later, possibly. Kevin in the pits at the moment, Clyde in the pits, Salva in the pits, Ian putting in a time. Let's have a little look at Ian Vincent chucking his car around here. I mean, just look at that. That's a beautiful, beautiful AMG Mercedes. And I've got to say, this is a car that PM10, I was just talking about, has been using or used previously for a championship elsewhere. And nobody else really went for it. And he ended up winning the championship with that car. And since I've driven it, I have to say, it's a lovely bit of kit. I've always been a big fan of the Beetle at GR3, but as anyone that plays this game knows, it lacks that bit of grunt, the Beetle, but it is easy to drive. This car, though, I don't find it that difficult. It can, at times, understeer and oversteer at the same time, but, you know, a bit of throttle control, you can deal with that. And just a quick one for anyone interested in football, I'm watching on the other screen, I'm watching the Arsenal Palace match. If you don't like Arsenal, look away now, because my season hasn't got off to a good start. Enough said about that. Avalon Shadow in the pits, haven't seen. This is the one annoying thing, I talk about this all the time, is the one annoying thing about GT7 that GT Sport had, is that you go and have a look at everyone's times and everyone splits. And we can't do that, and it's a rotten pain in the arse, to be honest. It would be good to know what people's split times are. I have to rely on the information that they've got really in front of them. So currently the fastest man out there, as we know, is Stormfly 2:15.3. That looks to be the time to beat. Just a couple of minutes to get a representative lap in. Wiggy with a 2:16.4. Bourneville 2:16.7. Oh, that's just sacrilegious. It's 1-0, Jason. Just to confirm, it's 1-0 to the Arsenal. I actually missed the goal, to be honest. I was nattering to you guys, but I looked up to see they'd already scored. Oh, it is what it is. They're supposed to be a top 6 side. We're supposed to be a mid-table side. They should be beating us, and if they don't, they're stupid. But we are on the attack, and it's coming to nothing. There we go. But I'm not here to commentate the football. I'm here to commentate the racing. Although if Sky Sports are listening and they want to give me a job, quite happy to oblige. So who else is on track? Craig's on track, Franny on track. Any of the GTSR guys out? No. All in the pits. I think waiting for race start now, actually. There's not enough time to put in a representative laps. I think everyone's just sitting waiting. Be interested to see the strategies, actually, because there's two sort of strategies I think we could be looking at. There's the 2-stop strategy where you better than Carragher. I'm not being funny, Paul. Most people would be better than Carragher. He's a freaking animal with he wasn't a bad footballer, but he just doesn't have a clue. But I'd like to think I'm more like better than Danny Murphy. Danny Murphy is useless. But again, we digress. Yeah, there are two strategies here. There's the 2-stop strategy, which I think it depends on your pace. I think if you can make your tyres last, you can make your fuel hang out there a little bit longer, because I think in the first stint, they're starting on half a tank, so in your first stint, it's going to be fuel that's going to dictate when you come in. So I think then if you can drag, it's a 50-minute race, if you can drag your half tank out to sort of the 10-minute mark, which is not an easy thing to do on this track, and be racing at the same time. But if you can drag it out till the 10-minute mark, then I think you can look at doing a 2-stopper. So you've got your first stint on the softs, and then run one of your other tyres, whether it be hard or your medium or either or, and then maybe finish on the on the same tyre, the medium or the hard. There is the other school of thought, though. You could go hell for leather, not worry too much about the saving of the fuel, come in a little bit earlier for your first stint, and go for a 3-stopper, where you run the soft tyres, a couple of medium stints, and then the soft stint at the end. Really depends on race pace as to which one's going to work best for you. You've got to bear in mind that the refueling speed is not super quick. It's, I think, 6 litres a second, so you're going to lose a bit of time, and it is a very, very long pit stop here. It takes an age to get in, and you've got to be really careful getting out, because if you cross that pit line when you get out, it's going to cost you a lot of time. It's not just the 3 seconds advertised on the car. It is significantly more than that. I did a couple of runs earlier where I deliberately got that 3 second penalty and did a little test. And I'm not as fast as these quicker guys, so they may be able to get a little bit less than that. But I estimate you can lose sort of 10 to 11 seconds because of where the penalty line is here. If you get a 3 second penalty, because the car essentially is not, you're at full speed when you hit that line. Essentially you're at full speed, and here we are with the race about to start, I believe. I don't see anyone on the grid though, which is a bit worrying. Oh, there we go. So here we go, the race is underway. Stormfly on pole. In fact, our guys occupies the first 4 positions. Looking forward to this. So the lights are on. What a pain in the arse. Everyone seems to be away well. Stormfly away, Wiggy away, Avalon Shadow away, Bourville up into 4th place. Great movement from him to get up into 4th. Craig just losing out there off the line, but making a challenge on Bourville on up the Kemmel Straights. He's up the inside, or up the outside should I say, and Frowny also makes a move up. But be careful not to touch each other. So at the moment, Bourville just trying to regain that position. Doesn't manage to do so. I do need to jump out of this screen until I can get my my view back. There we go. That's what I wanted. I wanted to get back to this view so I can see the cars properly. Another little bug that Polyphono need to sort out, or Polyphony or whatever they're bloody called, idiots, need to sort out. So there we go. So at the moment, Stormfly in the lead. He is 1.1 seconds clear of Wiggy in 2nd place. Avalon Shadow in 3rd. Craig in 4th. Frowny in 5th place, with Bourville at the moment having a battle. Yeah, I think you might as well, mate. I've glanced over once already. I don't want to do it again. Bourville in 6th place. Clyde in 7th. Kevin in 8th at the moment. Salva in 9th. And Ian bringing up the rear in 10th place. So we've got just the 5 Black Flag runners in the lead, with the 5 Gentleman Driver Sim Racing at the back of the pack. But we don't know what their strategy is. They could very well be on a completely different race strategy, which is going to prove to be different and help them out later on. Completely lost the ability of speech then. But at the moment, Stormfly very dominant out in front, 2.2 seconds. Is he going to go for a big balls out jump ahead and then slow the pace down later on? Wiggy at the moment, Avalon Shadow, Craig, all in a bit of a procession. Half a second, between half a second and 8/10 separate all of them at the moment, with the gap back to the lead GDSR runner, Bourville. As one of them goes, Bourville, massive spin off the track, loses it into turn 1, struggling to get his car back on the track as well. Did he have a technical issue with his steering wheel? Because it seems to struggle to get the car back onto the track. Massive spin there from Bourville. So Kevin now the lead runner for GDSR. They're doing really well, Phil. Really good job. So GDSR at the moment, Kevin is their lead runner in 6th place, being challenged quite significantly by Clyde. Clyde 86, 2 second gap back to Salva, who has pulled a almost 4 second gap to Ian. But Bourville, after that really big spin into turn 1 at the start of lap 2, finds himself 14 seconds adrift. So whatever strategy he was planning on, that's going to have to change now. Is he going to go absolutely flat out to close up the gap, or is he planning on looking at maybe a different strategy? Good evening again, Jean-Francois. Yeah, I think he might have to look at a different strategy. Maybe go a little bit longer and try and make up the difference there. So out in front at the moment, no change. Stormfly still in the lead. He is 4.1 seconds clear of Wiggy. Wiggy, who is only half a second at the moment ahead of Avalon. Now we know these two guys very good saving the tyres and the fuel. Very good at that. that aspect of racing. So are they gonna go for the two-stopper? Are they going to stretch this out to the 10-minute mark? We're on lap 2, just over 4 minutes into the race. As we see, we head into the bus stop. Stormfly through, Wiggy through, Avalon Shadow through, Craig and Frowny also through. Very, very close running. And see Craig with a bit of a spin does recover, but Frowny picks up the slack, moves into 4th place. Not a big spin there from Craig, but enough to unsettle the car and just drop him down the order. But at the moment, they're helping each other along up that Kemmel Straight. The gap to GDSR Clyde is 3.9 seconds, so no slipstream being given. But at the moment, Wiggy, Shadow, Avalon Shadow, sorry, Frowny and Craig all getting a little bit of slipstream, helping each other up that Kemmel Straight, which can only aid opening up that gap. Now, are they going to split their strategies now? Are they going to go for a couple of two-stoppers, a couple of three-stoppers, someone in between, just to mix it up a little bit and maybe see what kind of pace they can get? But at the moment, very, very dominant. But I've got to say, very clean from everybody at GDSR. Clyde seems to be the guy pulling away from the rest of the pack. Now, it is an absolutely cracking start. Yes, it is, Jean-Francois. It was from qualifying. It was a sort of, we did it straight from the practice qualifying time, so it was fastest first start from the grid. The annoying thing is obviously that unlike GTS, GT7 doesn't give us a comprehensive list of times that we can look at. So you can only see the times that you've done and the fastest lap, which is a bit rubbish. But I'm sure that Sony and Polyphony will sort that out. The penalty line, I'll show you when Clyde gets there, buddy. But it is in a really horrible place. So it's in the back straight. Where is he now? He's not far off there, actually. Yeah, so the penalty line is just coming up ahead. You see that there? So you basically, you're full pelt or close to it. So yeah, so I did it earlier, Paul, and I deliberately got 3-second penalty coming out of the pit on the outlap. Made sure I got a really good exit speed from the previous corner. Absolutely melted it through there, and counted the time it took to get back up to the same speed. I then did the following lap without getting a penalty, and it worked out as about between 10 and 11 seconds that you lose. It's a killer there, absolute killer. So Kevin, GDSR Kevin, 3.1 seconds behind Clyde. Got a 5-second gap on Salva, but it looks like Ian is very close to the back of Salva, actually. Bit of slipstream going to help him up the Kemmel Straight there as they go into Radion and Eau Rouge. And that's a great shot going across the start-finish line there. It really is. Very smooth going through there. How's Bourville getting on? Because Bourville's quick, very, very quick. There he is. He's cut that gap down to 6 seconds, and not really burnt his fuel too badly in doing so. Certainly in the first stint, the tyres will hold out long before the fuel does. You will have to go in, and the pit window opens somewhere between sort of lap 5, lap 6. Is where we should expect to see people coming in. So anyway, depending on your strategy, if you're going for a 3-stopper, then about now lap 4 is your kind of pit window, the kind of 8-minute mark. If you're going for a 2-stopper, then you want to stretch that out to about 10 minutes. So you're going in sort of lap 5, maybe lap 6 if you're very, very brave. And there we see Stormflyer is currently in the lead by some way, has really burnt out that fuel, and will probably be coming in at the end of this lap. Wiggy done a much better job holding on. It looks to me like he's going to hold on and go for a 2-stop strategy. Same as Avalon, I think he's also on 2-stop. So they are splitting the strategies here. Stormfly on a 3-stopper, Wiggy, Avalon Shadow both on a 2-stopper. Craig also looks to be on a 2-stopper, so they're doing a very good job actually of holding on to the fuel. Frowny as well looks to be on a 3-stopper just behind Craig. Craig has regained that position from Frowny after the spin on lap 1. And as I thought, Stormfly in end of lap 4, very much a 3-stop strategy from him. Clyde there will be going in, 3-stop strategy from Clive. But Kevin is staying out, so he is clearly going for the 2-stopper. And yes, Frowny also in. Salva to me looks to be staying out. Possibly, yeah, he is staying out. So Salva's staying out, Ian is staying out, and Bourville is also staying out. So they're all going for a 2-stop strategy here. So again, both teams splitting strategies. Will be interesting to see with the split strategies where everyone kind of falls, because what you find is, especially a good example actually was our GRB race on Wednesday evening, where you had so many different strategies on the pitch, you didn't really know where everyone was going to finish until the race actually finished, because the strategies were so different. So Wiggy out in the lead at the moment, 3.4 seconds clear of Avalon. He will be coming in at the end of this lap and looking to do a 2-stop, so he will have I suspect quite a long middle stint on the alternative tyres. Whether he goes for the hards or the softs, I don't know, but will be interesting to see. Avalon as well is going for that 2-stop strategy and will come in this lap, as will Craig, as will Kevin, as will Salva and Eon. Eon, sorry, his name's Ian. Bourville, the only French rider in the lineup today, will also be coming in. Bourville making a move on Ian there. Good overtake, a good solid overtake there from Bourville. So despite his spin on at the end of lap 1, beginning of lap 2, absolutely fantastic speed, fantastic overtake. The fastest lap at the moment, not far off qualifying pace, with a 2:15.4 from Stormfly. But Bourville with a 2:17.8 has very, very solid race pace. 2:18.9 from Kevin. Frowley with a 2:17.5, Clyde with a 2:20.2. So yeah, very, very interesting times there. You have to wonder if there is a Progos, Avalon Shadow in, Wiggy in, Craig also in, Kevin in. Here we go, Salva will be coming round, and we'll see him after the bus stop coming into the pits. And this is a good opportunity to wet the old whistle. So a big hello to any GDSR guys watching. Hope you're enjoying the stream, and I hope you're well, certainly enjoying the not necessarily enjoying the racing at the moment. It doesn't seem to be going too well for your lads, but they're doing a good job. But enjoying the stream in general, enjoying the coverage. Feel free to subscribe, like the video, come and join us for others, invite me to come and commentate for you guys. Yeah, and obviously I hope you understand what I'm saying. I know most of you are Belgian, so very, very multicultural group. Ian, very surprisingly, and I've got to say, to stay out another lap, that is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal fuel saving there from Ian. So are we going to see something very special from him? His lap times are down. There's no question about it. I mean, they are a good 7 seconds off that Stormfly. But if he is going to be able to go that much longer, does that make him incredibly racy at the end of the race? Because the lap times being 7 seconds slower aren't indicative of his pace. They're indicative of a very, very clever strategy. So, despite my thought that there were 3 strategies here, it appears that there were, 2 strategies here. It appears that there are 3. And one of those involves being incredibly worrying at the end in terms of pace. So Ian's held it out there till lap 6, so it does throw a massive cat amongst the pigeons, because this isn't a strategy that I'd considered to be one that might work, but you're not going to do it unless you think you can get something out of it. So looking forward to seeing how this strategy pans out. So now we've got three distinct strategies going on the field. That's what happens when you watch football out of the corner of your eye. 3 distinct strategies going on the racetrack. So we'll see Stormfly retake the lead. He is opted for the medium tyres, which is the sensible choice if you are going 3-stop. You want to be a little bit racy. You don't want to be using the hard tyres because they just don't have the grip. Wiggy 14 seconds back. Now Stormfly actually went for a much less fuel in that stop, which is why the gap is 14 seconds. So Wiggy is going a bit longer. As we thought, he's clearly going to be stopping. So he's come out on the hard tyres. He's going to hang out there longer. Avalon Shadow has gone for the mediums and gone sort of midway on the fuel. So is he going to go 2-stop, but sort of hang his tyres out there a little bit longer? Craig also on the medium tyres. They clearly feel these are the ones that give them the right kind of pace. So Ian in the pits, just pulling in now. Interested to see what tyres he comes out on. Frowny there in 6th place at the moment. Looks like he'll be coming through, and Black Flag will retain the top 5 positions. So some really good racing out there. So Ian in the pits. Where's Clyde? Is Clyde coming through? Well, so far nobody has fallen foul of the pit line penalty, that devastating 3-second penalty you get for crossing the pit line, and hopefully it stays that way. Obviously I suppose we could turn the penalty off, but it is kind of there to keep everyone honest, because you could actually melt it across the line halfway down the track here, couldn't you? So Bourville back up into 8th place. Now, if we consider how badly Bourville started, he was the front runner for GDSR in 5th place and looking comfortably so. End of lap 1 into turn 1, massive spin puts him in the wall. 14 seconds, a massive 14 seconds behind. But his really phenomenal race pace has put him right up there into 8th. So showing some really good pace to keep in this race. So there's 2 real competitions going on here. There's 2 real competitions going on here. You've got the obviously the competition between Black Flag E-Racing and the Gentleman Drivers Sim Racing, which is a head-to-head team event, but there's also the kind of pride within the team as well between each other. And I'm sure that's gonna count for something. But this is a friendly race. We're doing this for a bit of fun, bit of something to do on a Friday night, and something to show you wonderful people out there in YouTube land. So Bourville doing a very good, solid job. Salva, what's Salva been up to? Salva is in 10th place at the moment, 9 seconds behind Bourville. He's in what I like to call no man's land. And those of you who have watched a lot of my videos will know that I have very often referred to a thing called the Belgian sandwich, because there was quite a lot of races we started with 2 Belgians in it. Bourville's currently in that Belgian sandwich, being that he's French, but that's all I'm going to say about it. I like to drop it in when I can, so I haven't had much opportunities lately because we're all Dutch, or English, or Serbian, Spanish, German, or Jamaican. We like the United Colours of Benetton. There's quite a lot of us from all over Europe, and American, of course. Sorry, Grizz. Didn't forget about you. So Ian there, Ian with the oddest strategy, or I say oddest strategy. It could prove to be a masterstroke, yeah, but it's a strategy that I didn't think of. He hung that car out much longer than anybody else could, and did a very good job of doing it. So now we're sort of looking at he's just coming out on his from his pit lap. He is 9 seconds back, but significantly more fuel, significantly fresher tyres, and will probably hang it out longer in this middle stint. How are we looking in the top 5 at the moment? So Stormfly he's extended that lead to 19.8 seconds. So he's not really looking, at the moment, for me, not really looking to conserve anything. He's going for all-out pace as a strategy. Will that work out for him? Remember, he's going to have to 3-stop racing like this. Don't even know why I question it. We know Stormfly's quick. To question it would be foolish. He knows what he's doing. But he really seemed to have got this Mercedes GT3 dialed in perfectly. Wiggy. Yeah, doing a good job, Gary. Really, really good job at the moment. Wiggy in second place, 20 seconds back, but he's got a little bit of a train behind him. So he, Avalon Shadow, Craig, all benefiting from Slipstream. Bit of team racing going on there, actually, and then we see Frowny joining that as well. So these four guys are racing in a completely different way to Stormfly out in front. Stormfly absolutely smashing it up the track, and these four gone for a little bit more slow and steady wins the race. But that is a great sight, as you just see Craig going wide, but Frowny going through and picking up the slack, Craig just slotting in behind. But great shot there, the four cars coming up into Eau Rouge. Sorry, just taking a screenshot of that. It was a great picture. There we go, great shot there. Avalon Shadow in third place, very good with his fuel saving, very good with his tyre saving. Expect to see him kind of drag out this middle stint as far as humanly possible. Frowny, him and Craig show very similar pace, swapping places between them, but doing a good job of picking up the slack. So one goes off, the other one carries on, and very good team play from those two. GSDR Kevin, there he is in sixth place at the moment. Good solid 2:18, good solid race pace, 8 seconds off the back of Craig at the moment, but we don't know what sort of strategy they're employing. They may have something up their sleeve and be much racier towards the end of the race. But at the moment, good steady race pace. But the pace out front, I think the pace from Stormfly caught everybody by surprise, because he's so gone so quick. And did that catch people out and sort of drag people out with them? We're yet to see. Clyde, 86. Good pace from Clyde. Been relatively consistent to low 220s to the to high sorry, I lie there. It's the mid 219s up to the low 22s on the medium tyres now, and so it looks to me like he's going to be a 3-stopper. Bourville for me. The two actually to watch, Bourville being one of them. Bourville's the only French driver in their Belgian lineup. He's the one to watch for me. He's got a lot of pace. He was just off the back of the front five going into turn one on at the end of lap one. Had a big spin. It looked to me, it was less of a spin and more of a technical, like a wheel error, because it seemed to struggle to get the car back on the track. That may be the case. I may be completely wrong, and I'm sure he'll let me know if that was the case. But it certainly looked to me that there was a wheel error of some sort, which spun him off. But since then, he's been very, very solid. And if you look at the consistency in those lap times since the pit stop, mid 218s every lap. So settled into a lovely little rhythm. Gone for the softs in his second stint. So for him, it's about all-out pace, and he's closed the gap. He was 14 seconds back coming up the Kemmel Straight after his spin. And that was from 40 seconds back in 10th. He's moved up the order into 8th. He's now only 2.9, 3 seconds off Clyde, doing a very, very solid job there. Salva. There is Salva currently running in 9th place, 15 seconds behind Bourville. Again, settled into quite a solid pace in the mid to low 21s. Opted for the mediums in this stint. Looks also to me to be a 3-stopper. Ian, for me, this is a dark horse. He's got a penalty at the moment, but on a much different strategy to everybody else. And this guy can fuel save. Definitely can. He dragged it out much longer than anybody else on the racetrack. Is he going to be able to do so again and put himself in a position that his final stint is one where he is on soft and he's quick? So I think we need to keep an eye on Ian, certainly. Stormfly going in for his second stop already. So he is definitely 3-stopping this race. We're not far off the midway point, 23 minutes in. So Stormfly comes in for his second stop. He's had the two. He's used two tyre compounds. He is now free to choose whatever compound he wishes. Sorry about that. I had to shout at one of my children. They decided to open the fridge and leave the fridge open and disappear upstairs. Avalon Shadow in second place. But he will take the lead for the time being. There he does, takes the lead. Wiggy through in second, Frowny through in third, Craig through in fourth. So having these guys racing so close together, very beneficial, because what they do is they continue the charge up the track, opening that gap. Stormfly just drops in, it looks to me, behind GDSR Kevin. Such a long way getting out here. Where is Bourville? Is Bourville close? Not quite. I think Stormfly's just going to get out ahead, but Bourville is going to be coming at a rate, and he is an absolute massive rate. Good overtake there from Stormfly. Doesn't really try and defend it. Sensible mover. He moves across. He knows Bourville's coming up there at a rate of knots. Lets Bourville through. Now, does he overtake him on the racetrack, or does he wait and see what Bourville's next move is? Remember, Bourville he's gone races. He's gone on those racing soft tyres, and has shown us some very, very solid pace. His tyres are starting to look a bit red. Is he going to try and hang them out with the fuel, or is he going to go and jump and get some fresher tyres with less fuel to put on board? Maybe that's his ploy, actually, is just kind of stockpile some fuel. Stormfly looking at a move up the inside. Bourville holding well on the road. They looked like they were going to touch, they didn't, but Stormfly gets through, makes that move count. Stormfly came back out on the softs, so he's going to have another short stint, which to me, I think, we'll probably see him coming in somewhere around lap 15, I think. He's certainly not going to go very long on those tyres. But Bourville not allowing him to pull away as quickly as he'd like. Is Salva making any inroads into the back of Bourville? Well, at the moment, no. He's 20 seconds off and lapping a couple of seconds slower lap. Very consistent laps, but he's got Clyde for company now, and basically pulling Clyde down every straight. Clyde with only 7-8 tenths behind. So he is pulling him down every single straight, giving him some slipstream, which is allowing Clyde really to utilise a bit of fuel saving, maybe gain a bit of speed. And Clyde's lap times, you are indeed the lone Yankee, Anthony. Thanks for reminding us, but your chat is covering. Thank you very much. It was covering the lap times, I couldn't see. But anyway, so Clyde has actually. Look, did he have a really bad lap that lap? He must have done, because that was a 2:42 lap 10. So not a great lap there, unless that wasn't a pit. That couldn't have been a pit lap. No, he hasn't pit. It was just a poor lap. So Frowny in for his second stop. All of GDSR are still on the track, so their strategy is a little bit different. They are trying to go a bit longer and use that time on the racetrack to close up those gaps. Frowny coming out of the pits. Where's Ian? I think Ian's going to be coming at a rate. Frowny needs to look in his mirrors when he comes out of the pits, because Ian is coming up that Kemmel straight with his foot to the floor. Frowny's out, but there we've got Ian just behind. Ian has got the pace. Is he going to just slot in behind, or is he going to go for the overtake? Now, it looks to me that he's just going to save a bit of fuel there, let Frowny do his thing. Now, he clearly should have been in sixth gear at that stage. He wasn't, which says to me that he's holding on to his fuel for a little bit and just letting Frowny do his thing. So he's going to sit in there behind and absolutely save some fuel in there. So as I said, it's very difficult to tell where everyone comes out because of the difference in strategies. Because where it was top 5 for Black Flag, and it was the final 5 for GDSR, it's now the other way. It's kind of mixed up a bit. We've got Avalon in the lead from Wiggy. Wiggy was actually ahead of Avalon, so Avalon's pace just starting to show. Now, I do need to point out that Wiggy is carrying COVID. He's only He was feeling a bit rough last couple of days, tested positive today. If he lasts this race, absolute credit to him, because he's not feeling great. But get well soon, Wiggy. We're going to miss you tomorrow if you don't make BFB. Which should be fun. While we're in this middle portion of the race, let's talk about what's going on Black Flag e-Racing TV over the next few days. So Saturday is our maiden tournament, the Black Flag BS Tour. Very, very fun tournament. It's alternate between GR4 and GR3, different tracks every week. We've had 3 races now in the Americas. We are heading into Europe for race number 4. So looking forward to what that brings to the tournament, or to the table, should we say. And it is back to the GR3 portion as well. At the moment, Stormfly well in the lead there, but we will be live from, I can't remember where we are, I can't remember what track we're at. We're live from somewhere in Europe in GR3 cars tomorrow evening from 8:15. Nothing going on Sunday at the moment. We do have something planned. Jay, I know you're watching. We'll get on getting that sorted soon. There will be a Sunday tournament coming up soon. Monday we'll be doing a little bit of training. Tuesday, we've got a little bit of thing going on Tuesdays, which I can't remember what it is. Oh, Tuesdays is our garage showcase. 10 different cars, 10 different tracks, and it is everything from the F-150s last week right through to Group 1 VGT cars. So every week is different. This week we have coverage from I can't remember what track we're at, but we are in the Mazda Roadster. Somewhere in Japan. Oh, Tokyo. We're at Tokyo, the Mazda Roadster. I should write this stuff down really if I'm going to tell people about it, shouldn't I? And then Wednesday we're back to GRB. Great little rally tournament. 5 tracks. We're on race number 2 of that. And that was an amazing race. Just we see Avalon Shadow putting into the pits. Wiggy going off into the lead. Still quite some fuel on that car. He is going a long way. So GRB on Wednesday. That you need to check out, because Wednesday's race was probably one of the best races I've ever commentated, and that includes the GT Fusion and all the other bits and pieces that I used to do. One of the simply best races I've done. But there we go. So Avalon Shadow in the pits. Stormfly is in 3rd at the moment. Craig, not far behind him actually, in 3rd place. You see Stormfly moving up the order. Where's Avalon? Still in the pits. So we'll see. I think Bourville just going in now. The tyres didn't hold out as long as the fuel, but I think he's got a little ploy going on to ensure that he's always stockpiling a little bit of fuel, which means that he can have a big splash and dash at the end and go on the racing softs. For me here, he's going to put on one of the other choices of tyres, maybe the hards or the mediums. Be interested to see how much fuel he puts on board as well. Frowley back out in 7th. Looks like he's going to regain certainly 6th place. Will he regain 5th? I don't know. Where's Avalon Shadow? He may do. He's going to be quite racy coming up the Kemmel Straights. So Avalon Shadow is going to have to look in his mirrors. Although Frowley has a penalty that he's going to have to serve. So maybe just better sticking in there behind Avalon Shadow rather than overtaking and using that slipstream to mitigate some of that time lost. GDSR Kevin up into the top 5. So are we starting to see now where the different strategies are playing out? Because he's been very slow and steady. He's now found himself splitting the Black Flag e-racers into 2 factions. You've got Wiggy out front. Bear in mind, Wiggy still has to go for his 2nd pit stop. He has hung that car out for an absolute age. Really long time to hang that car up, but doing a fabulous job. It'll definitely be 2 stopping. He's not got enough fuel to go to the end of this stage. But we are nearly 35 minutes in, which means we've only got 15 minutes to the end of the race. Where has the time gone? Absolutely disappeared. It's been a really, really good race. Stormfly in 2nd at the moment. Will he have to pit again? I think he will. He's run soft, medium soft. I think he's going to do another stop and go soft. but I think he did split the strategy and go for the 3-stopper here. But Craig into the pits, so we'll see Stormfly go through. Craig dropping down the order. Kevin going through as well. So Kevin hanging it out there quite well on those tyres. So we're going to see quite a few racy cars in the tail end of this race. Have we seen the Black Flag guys peak too early with the pace? Are we going to see GDSR pulling out an absolute masterstroke of pace in the second or in the sort of last third of this race, where they demonstrate what they've really got under the bonnet? They're certainly looking to be ramping it up now. Kevin up into the top 3. Yes, he will have to pit, possibly in this lap, certainly at the end of lap 16. But he's only going to have 15 minutes left of the race. He may be going quite racy there. So Craig in, Ian in, Salva in, Bourville. Ian and Bourville were the two that I really wanted to watch. Bourville is going, for me, to the end of this race. So his strategy was to, I think it's quite a clever strategy. I think he's going to the end, and he looks to have fueled absolutely perfectly to go to the end. Now Craig out ahead of him. He's on the mediums. He's got a full tank. I think he's over-fueled a bit there, but that might help him later down the line. Is it going to cost him some time? That's the question, because Craig is lapping in the 220s, the low 220s. Bourville, we know, has got 218s in the tank. Now, there are 15 minutes, 2.5 minutes a lap. We're probably looking at how many laps? So someone doing the math for me, you're all watching. So 2 laps in 5 minutes, so we're looking essentially, 6 laps? 6 laps left at 2 seconds a lap. There's certainly plenty of time to do it. How you doing, Anthony? Good to see you. Yeah, so 2 seconds a lap at that kind of pace. Craig's in real danger of being caught. Avalon 15 seconds clear. Similar pace to Craig, possibly in danger if he doesn't pick up the pace. But again, we don't know. We know that Avalon Shadow has always got something in the tank. He is already looking at making a move on Frowny. What sort of strategy is Frowny looking at? Frowny's not going to be able to go to the end. So for me, let Avalon through, I think, because he's going to have to stop again. He's not got enough fuel to take this to the end. So I think holding Avalon up at this stage is just going to push Avalon and risk Avalon being caught by Bourville. So Kevin now in the pits for his final stop. He's ran the mandatory mediums. He's going to go to the end. How much fuel has he put on board? We're not going to find out, although he's got it on, we're not going to find out just yet as we see him up the pit straight. Here we go, up the pit straight. He's on the softs. He's going to the end. These tyres will go that long as well. The softs certainly will. He's going to be racing. He's in the top 6. Craig just going through there. So at the moment we are back to how we were. Stormfly from Wiggy. The only difference here is Frowny is ahead of Avalon Shadow. Frowny, however, will need to stop again. Stormfly will need to stop again. He'll be stopping very soon. He has 35 seconds on Wiggy. Is that enough? Is that enough time? I'm not sure 35 seconds is enough to guarantee coming back out in first. So he's going to have to do something on the racetrack if these guys are racing between themselves. Then we've got Wiggy there in second. 10 seconds up from Frowny. He's going to the end without question. Frowny's going to have to pit again. And he's under significant pressure from Avalon Shadow. Maybe these guys need to communicate a little bit here, and I think there might be some words. Avalon saying, look, let me through. I'm quicker. You've got to stop. Or are these guys just like, sod it, let's have a race and see what's going on? No reason why they shouldn't. It's going quite well for them at the moment. We just talked about Avalon Shadow, 15 seconds up from Craig. And look at that gap already. Kevin very, very racy. Close that gap down to 1.2 seconds. Craig in real danger here of being caught by GDSR Kevin. I called it. I said there was going to be some pace. How you doing, Arminis? Good to see you, buddy. We're looking forward to having a similar race with you guys in the very, very near future. So that gap really, really, really close. Craig is going to go to the end. He's on the mediums. Behind him is GDSR Kevin with a massive advantage with tyres, looking very racy. What sort of lap time has he pulled out here? Difficult to see because it's hidden. Just waiting for the chat to disappear off the screen so I can actually see what that lap time was. That was a 2:58, and now that was an outlap from the pits. So we're really going to get to see his pace here. That gap is down to half a second. 8.9 back to Bourville, who's also going to be quick. Is he going to be able to close up on Craig also? It's certainly looking very, very likely. But Kevin at the moment showing phenomenal pace up against Craig. He's closed that gap down to half a second. Is there an opportunity to make a move here? Or is he just going to save a bit of fuel, save his tyres a little bit, hold him behind and make a move later on? It looks to me like he wasn't really close enough to make the move there. But if he maintains this gap, Craig could be in real trouble on the next lap. We'll come back to this action soon. Bourville 9 seconds back. He's got 37 seconds on Clyde now. Clyde going to the end. Ian going to the end. I thought Ian had a big strategy. Is he closing on Clyde? I think that's probably going to be his lot. He's got some time in there, but I don't think that strategy of staying out too long has worked well for him. Maybe he might have been better off going a bit racier. Salva just 4 seconds back, lapping at a very similar pace to Ian. Is he able to close that gap down a little? So back to this battle. Out to 7 tenths the gap at the moment. Craig just holding Kevin off at this stage, but he doesn't want to be taking chunks out of those tyres trying to pass. I think that's the hope. Craig wants to be trying to hold him off. He's got the tyres with a little bit more grip, but a lot less rubber to play with. So if Craig can hold him off using some great defensive lines, obviously he's not going to be able to stop him. If Kevin's close enough in the slipstream, he's not going to be able to stop him. There's nothing Craig's going to be able to do about it. But if he can keep him just at bay with those medium tyres, then he might just see Kevin wear those tyres out. But also Kevin could be sensible here and just sit in behind. And there we go. As I was about to say, wait for an error. And there was the error. Craig pushing that a little bit too hard. He saw Kevin in the mirror, and that's dropped him down. Now Kevin into the top 4. All change out front. It is not going the way of Black Flag anymore. It was all 5 in the top 5. It has now changed. Craig down to 5th. A little wobble there at the end of lap 17 into lap 18, allowing Kevin through, and Kevin's on those faster tyres. Can Craig stick with him? Frowney had to pit again. Where is Clyde? Clyde is, I think, a little bit too far, but yeah, he is too far back. So Frowney coming out in 7th. He's got Bourville 14 seconds up the road. So I called it. I did say that I thought GDSR had a strategy for a better pace towards the end of the race, and that certainly seems to be what's playing out for them. At the moment, Clyde, Ian and Salva all with their own little personal race going on at the back of the pack. Frowney 22 seconds clear of Clyde, and lapping at a very similar pace, so should stay ahead. Can he close the 16 seconds on Bourville? That's the question, because Bourville's pace is looking racy. He can lap faster than him, but there's just not enough time in this race. We have 8 minutes left. 8 minutes means 3 laps, maybe 4 tops. So we're looking at 21 laps, possibly for the front runners. And the front runners are Wiggy holding it out there for a 2-stopper, and it seems to have worked well for him. And good job for him holding out in this race with the managed to race with the Rona. Stormfly in second. He decided to go fastest lap, balls out racing, 3-stop, and at the moment is only 3.5 seconds behind Wiggy in second place. Avalon Shadow 6 seconds behind this in third. So the top 3 podium places are all he's had 3 pit stops, mate. PM10. Yeah, he's had 3 pit stops. Just seen that pop up. Yeah, Stormfly's pit 3 times, I think. Yeah, he has definitely pit 3 times. Anyway, yes, so Avalon Shadow in third. He's 11 seconds clear of GDSR Kevin. Now, he's lapping at 2:20.0. Kevin is a second and a half faster. Now, we saw Kevin hanging out there behind Craig, waiting for a mistake. Luckily for him, there was a mistake. Craig just going a little bit wide into turn 1. Kevin takes the opportunity to go through. Made the right decision. Didn't burn out his tyres trying to catch him. But now he is on the charge. He's got to rely on Avalon keeping the car on the road. Now, we know that a couple of months ago, Avalon had a little issue with overdriving, which he seems to have stopped doing, and should keep his car on the road. Now, he knows he can't catch Stormfly now, 7.5 seconds back. The sensible thing to do is to just drop his lap times down a little bit and ensure that car stays on the road. He probably won't. He'll probably race to see if he can get fastest lap. And good on him if he does. But there we go, Wiggy in the lead. That gap already under a second. So Stormfly absolutely determined, despite stopping 1 extra time, to win this race. Now, he was at one stage absolutely miles out in front. Is Wiggy going to give it to him, or is he going to make him racing for it? If I know Wiggy, Stormfly is going to have to pass him. He's going to make Stormfly do it. And let's be fair, he's so close to him here, we could possibly do this up for Kemmel Straight. So let's have a look at this on board as they go into turn 1. Very tight line, no opportunity there. Both on that power, very similar. Big wobble from Wiggy, wobble there from Stormfly. As they get onto the power, they pull over to that right-hand side into Eau Rouge and Radion. Wiggy, great line through there. Followed through full pelt by Stormfly. Stormfly closing with that slipstream. The gap getting smaller and smaller. But is he close enough? Absolutely melting it here, but is he close enough to finish? Makes the absolute brilliant overtake. Now that's an overtake we've seen him do before. We saw him do that in another race recently, but then we saw Wiggy do the same thing to somebody else on the following lap. So favourite overtaking point there for Stormfly. So Stormfly up into the lead of this race yet again. So it's Stormfly from Wiggy. 12 seconds back to Avalon Shadow. A further 7 seconds back. Absolutely phenomenal drive from GDSR Kevin. Played the game in the right way. Just sat there, waited for the error, and made his way through. Got that overtake, and is keeping Craig now just behind him. Bourville up into 6th place. Fairly 10 seconds back. That final stop just a little bit too slow for him, a little bit too late. They'd already gone racy by that time. Possibly should have looked at going a bit earlier and going racy with them, but stuck to the strategy, and it seemed to have worked quite well. Clyde not closing that gap on Friday. In fact, the gap is opening up to almost 30 seconds, with Ian 7 seconds further back, and Salva 20 seconds further back from that. But everybody's shown some great racing. Everybody's shown some absolutely phenomenal good sportsmanship. As we just see the light fading towards the end of this race, we're into lap 20, and everybody on the lead lap, which is something I like to see. We don't like to see people getting lapped too early on down the line, but what is a great thing to see is that it's close enough racing that you're on lap 20 of a 50-minute endurance race, and everybody is still racing on that lead lap. We say that as Stormfly just starts the lap 21, but they will all finish on the same lap, which is the important thing. So nobody's going to be finishing any earlier because they're on on a slower lap. So Stormfly opened that gap up to 2.4 seconds. Wiggy giving it up. He's on the hard tyres. He knows the Stormfly's got the pace on those softs. Although he won't keep that position if he keeps picking up penalties like that. That's a half-second penalty for Wiggy. That's probably going to cost him about a second and a half. Well, we'll see, actually. This is a really good acid test of how awful these penalties are. So Wiggy is 14 seconds back. Apologise, Stormfly, I thought I was looking at you, but that wasn't you. So 14.2. So we'll see what the gap is after this penalty's been served. So Wiggy coming round now. We'll have a look in a second when he finally gets there. Avalon 4 seconds ahead of Kevin. As Kevin put such a big charge in that there is a possibility here. We're on what is probably the final lap. Almost certainly the final lap. Is it close enough? I don't, unless Avalon makes a mistake, I can't see Kevin getting himself onto the podium. But what an absolute phenomenal drive from Kevin. And I've got to say, it's been a great team versus team against these guys. Absolute pleasure to race with. They've been professional throughout. They've been very upfront and very, very fair racing. No messing around. None of this argy-bargy that we've seen in previous Team V teams against others. This has been absolutely down the line fair and brilliant. They picked a brilliant racetrack, and I think we picked a great car to complement it. And I certainly would look forward to racing with these guys again, either in another team versus team format, or if they come and join us in one of our races, or vice versa, we come and join them in one of theirs. It's been phenomenal, and I've really enjoyed it, and I hope they've enjoyed it too. And Stormfly brings it home in first place. Wiggy comes home in second, flashes his lights across the line. So actually that penalty didn't cost him as much as we thought, because he was actually much further ahead. Avalon Shadow just coming around the bus stop, followed by Kevin. Congratulations to Kevin, lead GDSR driver. So Avalon Shadow is through in third, Kevin in fourth place. Craig just couldn't hold off the charge of Kevin. And you see Craig flashing his lights also, coming across the line in fifth. Great drive from Bourville. To be that far behind after a crash on that one and get himself back in the running like that, absolute applause to you, my friend. Clap, clap, clap. I can't clap because I'm holding the controller. There we go. Bourville in sixth. Frowney brings it home in seventh, just coming out of the bus stop. Great drive from Frowney. And then we see the other runners from Clyde. And as I said, they've all been phenomenal. It's been an absolute pleasure racing with these guys. And I've just noticed, actually, I accused Ian of being Belgian, but he's not, is he? Because he's got a British flag next to him. So hello there. So you're not all Belgian, you're Belgian, French and English, so you're probably just as multicultural as us. We've got a lot of Dutch, so I suppose that's the way. Clyde is through. Brilliant drive there from Clyde. Brilliant drive there from Ian. Awesome, great lap times. Make it across the line before you do that, buddy. Go across in reverse. Drive it like you stole it. That's the only way to drive. Drive it like you stole it. And here comes Salva, just to finish it off. Brilliant from everyone. No, really, really enjoyable race from start to finish. No one messed around. No, everyone raced fair. I've got to say, it's been a doozy. Really good race, and looking forward to racing with these guys again. So there we go. Stormfly from Avalon Shadow. From Wiggy from Avalon Shadow. And then a great performance from Kevin to get himself into fourth place. But there we go, Stormfly, pole position and fastest lap. Great performance, well done you. So there we go, that's it. We started and then it was gone and finished. So there we have it. It's been an absolute phenomenal race. Thank you everyone for watching. That's been the biggest audience we've had since we switched to Black Flag, so thank you for not only just for joining us, but for sticking it out, for listening to me talk absolute rubbish for the best part of an hour. Thank you so much. It's up, so, well, what can I say? Congratulations Stormfly, Wiggy, thank you very, very much to the Gentleman Drivers Sim Racers, especially Kevin. You've all been brilliant. I actually loved it. Love racing with you. Look forward to doing it again very shortly. But all that's left to say is I've been Urban Pirate. We have been a Black Flag E-Racing Television. This has been the Black Flag E-Racing versus Gentleman Drivers Sim Racer. Hopefully race number 1 of many. That's it. See you tomorrow for the BFB.